Do understand that I don't believe everybody.
Right.
Like the accusations are way too fast, and it's wow. I'm like.
No, we discussed that.
You freeze. You're in shock. I mean, children aren't supposed to handle that sort of stuff.
There are other people within Diddy's operation who we can point to as playing a major role.
Hey, this is how it works, pure and simple. And this is why I got into it, and this is why I have power. This is how it works, and you have to understand that. That does not carry the day.
Tom Hanks and Jairus are reportedly trying to flee America after the FBI made its first arrest in the ongoing Diddy case. 50 Cent is revealing the names of those involved in the abuse of minors, some as young as 7 years old. Victims have come forward with shocking accounts, exposing one of the most disturbing rings in Hollywood. Stay with us as we uncover the details behind this scandal and explore how 50 Cent has implicated Tom Hanks in allegedly covering up for Diddy.
The idea that there are sexual predators in power, not just in Hollywood, I think all across any place there's a boss with underlings in any corporation or any industry, you have a type of sexual politics that goes on that can slide in between appropriate ethics and decorum to, inappropriate behavior to the point of harassment and sexual predatory behavior.
Well, I mean, I think people understand that, but the larger question is there a culture of complicity in Hollywood where women are afraid?
He also shed light on the appropriate ethics and decorum, contrasting them with inappropriate behavior that crosses the line into harassment and predatory conduct. The larger question, however, is whether there exists a culture of complicity in Hollywood, where women are afraid to speak out due to the fear of being blacklisted, and men are hesitant to come forward because they share the same fears of repercussions.
To speak up because they'll be blacklisted. Men are afraid to speak up because either they're out of the same fear or they just think, well, this is the way the system works.
I think there are people that say, hey, this is how it works, pure and simple. And this is why I got into it, and this is why I have power. This is how it works, and you have to understand that. That does not carry the day. Complicity is also complicity. The people who know, well, look, this is how we do business, and that's what it's got to be done. I'm sorry it's like that. So beware. That's also present, without a doubt, but it does not carry the day. There's also people that were afraid to speak out, who were victims, that did not go forward, that signed negotiated settlement deals of which a non-disclosure agreement was part and parcel to it. That all.
50 Cent is the only A-list celebrity who has been outspoken against Diddy from the very beginning, while others in Hollywood only recently began distancing themselves from the disgraced producer. 50 Cent has consistently called out the situation since the 90s, while many in the industry turned a blind eye. Despite widespread knowledge of the abuse, the industry continued to cover up the crimes. Names like Aaron Carter, Justin Bieber, Usher, and others are just a few of the celebrities who endured abuse as children. Despite clear signs of mistreatment, no one stepped in to help them.
Yeah. In the relationships, when you start doing things that or trying to recreate another version of it, it's not like everybody can do it. You know, Jay produced a few things and it was awfully quiet.
Before present day, okay? Because we don't have to get into what's going on right now. But you and Puff haven't liked each other business-wise for a long time.
Well, that's why. It's only business. It was really, away from that, I explained why I didn't hang out with him. Right? Because it's a little fluffy stuff going on.
It's not your scene.
It's not my style.
Not your scene.
They hug you from the front and the back at the same time.
It's not your thing.
It's not my thing, bro. No.
You're not a hug front and back at the same time.
Do understand that I don't believe everybody.
Right.
Like the accusations are way too fast, and it's wow. I'm like.
No, we discussed that too.
Yo, you know they got a hotline. You heard about the hotline?
Yeah.
You think 50 doesn't know about the hotline?
Bugs me.
The decision emphasizes the growing annoyance in the situation. It felt like when momentum started building, he would suddenly say, yo, when are we hanging out? It wasn't necessarily about trying to dim my light early in my career, but more about how uncomfortable his actions made me. The way he was pushing for me to hang out with him felt off, almost like there was an underlying agenda.
His name's Bugsby.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bugsby. But he was the one who
had
a
Houston.
But what was the original annoyance between? It was just like,
well, when you start to get the momentum, he's like, yo, we gotta hang out. Yo, when we going, you know.
So you felt like he was trying to dim your light early in your career?
It wasn't that. It was really just I got uncomfortable with him because the The way he was asking to try and get me to hang out with him was like, yo, I'll take you shopping. Like, and I'm like, what you mean? Like, that's something you say to a woman you're attracted to, maybe.
Right.
Just what I'm
So
saying.
you felt like you trying to play you like you didn't have your own money, you didn't have your own shit.
It was weird because I'm not only do I not go shopping like that, but he knew Misa was getting clothes for me, like was a stylist for me at points. Right. So why are you asking me to go shopping? You're asking me. It's just weird, bro. Like, and now you start to see a lot of the weird stuff that was there. It looks like it all lines up, don't it? It was not in the closet. It was in front of you, and you wasn't seeing it because you see the beards, or you see the girls. So you didn't look at them the way it actually is to it.
No one took the victims seriously because some of the biggest names in the industry were complicit in facilitating the abuse. Diddy was closely connected with top producers, executives, and even had direct ties to U.S. presidents. Do you really think it's a coincidence that Diddy was handed the key to New York just weeks before the raid at his mansion? The timing raises serious questions about the extent of his influence and the protection he received.
Now, did the Federal Bureau of Investigation in Miami do it? No, they didn't. Did California do it? No, they did not. The Southern District of New York, they took it upon themselves and put on that raid and everything based on the information they found in Cassie lawsuit and the information they found in Little Rod lawsuit. But all this is bigger than Diddy. It's bigger than Diddy, bro. Because you know who else they was doing investigation on during that whole time period?
Gene Deal revealed that during that time, investigations were also being conducted on the mayor and other politicians in New York City. Despite this, Diddy was still given the key to the city. It's striking to note that many of the individuals connected to the mayor were also involved, raising serious questions about the deeper connections and influence Diddy wielded during that period.
It was the mayor and the politicians in New York City. They turn around and give him the key to the city. All the mayor people that he brought on here in New York City are all resigning. They all resigning. People ain't gonna tie this together, but if you look at it, you have to say, because of Mayor Adams and his relationship with Diddy, it brought on the Southern District of New York to start investigating Diddy on civil lawsuits that was put against him. Because the feds is going after all these politicians.
The only reason Diddy managed to avoid arrest for so long was because he wasn't acting alone. He had an extensive network of people complicit in the alleged abuse. Reportedly, Diddy even tried to recruit 50 Cent into his circle, but 50 refused, feeling uneasy about Diddy's behavior. According to 50 Cent, Diddy made multiple advances toward him, expressing romantic interest, but 50 rejected those advances and distanced himself from Diddy entirely.
Who were signaling to us that something was very wrong with Diddy, and they were virtually just being laughed out of the room. One person who was always anti-Diddy and was always speaking about Diddy as a problematic person was 50 Cent. And it turns out that it's just been announced that he's created a docu-series on Netflix. I can't wait to see this. And he is saying that it's a complex narrative that spans decades, which we are obviously realizing this, which should really make it clear to you that Hollywood is a tremendous evil. Everybody colluded to protect these secrets. They all were aware of it, and few spoke out. So Netflix is producing the docuseries from Curtis Jackson, 50 Cent, about the charges of sex trafficking and racketeering, as well as sexual assault and violent abuse allegations against Diddy Combs. And Alexandria Stapleton will be direct.
She emphasized the undeniable reality that Hollywood harbors a deep-rooted culture of secrecy and collusion. Everyone involved played a part in protecting these dark truths, as many were aware, yet only a few dared to speak out. To shed light on these issues, Netflix is now producing a docuseries led by Curtis Jackson, also known as 50 Cent, which will explore the charges of sex trafficking, racketeering, sexual assault, and violent abuse allegations.
directing the project, I will be definitively watching this. They describe this as a story with significant human impact. It's a complex narrative spanning decades, not just the headlines or the clips that we have seen so far. And 50 Cent is exclusively speaking to Variety, saying that he remains steadfast in his commitment to give a voice to the voiceless and to present authentic and nuanced perspectives. While the allegations are disturbing, we urge all to remember that Sean Combs' story is not the full story of hip-hop and its culture. We aim to ensure that individual actions do not overshadow the culture's broader contributions. Now, I would actually beg to differ. I would beg to differ on this because, like I said, I read that book, Hollywood Babylon, and as it traced, and again, that was movie culture, so they were kind of getting into the beginning of film, silent films, and making it clear that it was the carnies, the carnival people, the freaks that established Hollywood, and they were creating characters, and these people were drug addicted, sex addicted, and essentially they turned them into stars on screen because in many ways they wanted to emulate, mock, and destroy the
Why is 50 Cent the only one speaking out about the alleged abuse that occurred behind closed doors? Are others staying silent out of fear, or is there a deeper reason? Allegedly, many celebrities are hesitant to expose Diddy because of the significant leverage he holds over them and the powerful connections he has cultivated. Sources close to Diddy, as well as individuals within the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District have confirmed that Diddy was reportedly blackmailing people and using his influence to silence witnesses, ensuring that his secrets remained hidden.
These parties were sponsored by Motown Records CEO, Universal Records CEO. This goes all the way to the top. And so you get these people in compromising situations. The drinks were laced, the videotapes were hot, and then at the end of the day, you wake up the next morning, what did I do? And then they have compromising material on you. And then they can guide your career. They could kill your career, but they got you. And it wasn't just people in the music business. As you said, there were athletes, there were celebrities, there were politicians, people from the royal family. And we were also told by the former bodyguard that Diddy was an FBI informant. Whoa. So he was a snitch and was feeding information to the feds. And we don't know what that means. We haven't been able to confirm it, but even Little Rod said it's not just.
He revealed that it wasn't just individuals in the music industry involved, there were also athletes, celebrities, politicians, and even members of the royal family. Additionally, a former bodyguard claimed that Diddy acted as an FBI informant, feeding information to federal authorities. While this claim remains unconfirmed, it raises significant questions about his actions and the possible leverage he used to maintain his position. Even Little Ron pointed out that this goes far beyond what people might expect, suggesting deeper and more extensive connections at play.
Is painfully aware is former child star Corey Feldman.
You freeze. You're in shock. I mean, children aren't supposed to handle that sort of stuff. I can tell you that the #1 problem in Hollywood was and is and always will be pedophilia.
Nobody talks about pedophilia.
It's the big secret.
And it's widespread?
Oh, yeah. I was surrounded by them.
For years now, as evidenced on Nightline in 2011, Corey Feldman has been claiming that he and his good friend, the late Corey Haim, were victims of molestation when they were young actors. Last year, he opened up to our Alex Hudgens.
Why didn't kids are scared. Kids don't think I'm gonna go. First of all, for me, the person that was doing it to me the most, I could say that the two people that did it to me were both close friends of mine, or so I thought.
Feldman claims Haim endured more than him. In his book, Choreography, he alleges that Haim was raped on the set.
Justin Bieber never directly named Diddy, likely because he knew no one would come to his aid. Shockingly, Usher, the very person who was supposed to protect Justin, allegedly handed him over to Diddy, despite reportedly being a victim of abuse himself. Hollywood has a long history of silencing victims, as seen in high-profile cases involving Jeffrey Epstein, Harvey Weinstein, and Danny Masterson. Despite numerous reports of abuse against these individuals, the industry turned a blind eye, allowing the cycle to continue unchecked.
Of the 1986 film Lucas. The following year, 1987, their film The Lost Boys came out.
It was when we were both on the set of Lost Boys that, things were happening to both of us, not from anyone on the set, might I clear that up, but, outside elements.
How did people not know when these are two, or did they know and they just weren't doing anything about it?
I mean, I know he told a lot of people. That's the thing that's so upsetting to me. It's not like it's just me that knows this story.
Other people know.
A lot of people know. They're still working, they're still out there, and they're some of the richest, most powerful people in this business.
Back in 2013, on The View, Feldman was insistent that perpetrators are still out there, but says he won't name names due to statute of limitation laws in California. He also has another reason that echoes something we've heard regarding Harvey Weinstein.
From what I've seen, every time somebody tries to bring up a public name and they have a lot of money and power and a publicity machine behind them, the person who does the accusing is the one that ends up looking bad.
They would pull away the better looking younger kids and keep them for their own after party, and it would turn into a pool party. And then they'd have their rules. Oh, there's no swimsuits on.
He also reflected on the darker truths of the industry, stating, "Children aren't supposed to handle that sort of stuff." He emphasized that the #1 issue in Hollywood is, and likely always will be pedophilia. This unsettling reality sheds light on the systemic problems within the industry, where such behavior has been allowed to persist for far too long.
The former boss of the fashion giant Abercrombie & Fitch.
This middleman, James Jacobson, now also arrested.
In the past few months, I've spoken with more men who attended these events, 20 in total. Some told me they were tricked and abused, others that they were injected with drugs.
A lawyer for Mr. Jeffries told the BBC, "We will respond in detail to the allegations after the indictment is unsealed and when appropriate, but plan to do so in the courthouse, not the media." Tonight, Mike Jeffries was released on bail. If convicted, he and the others accused.
With Diddy now behind bars, the investigation is expanding, and others connected to him are also facing legal consequences. This has evolved into an international operation. Recently, the former CEO of Abercrombie Fitch, Mike Jeffries, was arrested due to his alleged involvement in a trafficking ring that targeted men. Victims were reportedly pressured into giving consent and were often drugged to facilitate abuse. Each new revelation paints an even more horrifying picture of the crimes committed within these circles. The anchor alleged that Diddy's downfall was partly due to his struggles with drug abuse, which played a central role in the serious charges he now faces. When Diddy and Cassie were together, he reportedly dragged her into addiction. After leaving him, Cassie sought help by going to rehab, where she began reclaiming control of her life. This marked the start of a healing process, not just from substance abuse, but also from the emotional and physical abuse she endured during their relationship. From there, she found the courage to rebuild her life and eventually take a stand. As we continue to uncover the shocking truths behind the headlines, it's clear that the stories of abuse and corruption in Hollywood are far from over. The courage of those who have come forward, like Cassie and others, is shedding light on a system that has been hidden for far too long. While Diddy's downfall is just one chapter, it opens the door for many more to tell their stories. We'll be watching closely as this investigation unfolds, and we'll continue to bring you the latest updates. Stay with us for more breaking news as these dark secrets continue to unravel. Thank you for tuning in.